Oh, thank God. For a moment I thought this would be weird. Damn it.
Bin Laden is back.
We and a few others are the only things standing between the people of Afghanistan and a zombie apocalypse.
Someone's going to have to make a stand. Someone's going to have to say, enough.
If there was one film that I really wanted to see this year, it was Osombie. How can you go wrong with a zombie film and Osama Bin Laden? A government conspiracy about his death. It just sounded like this could be one hell of a good film. And it was about what I expected. The whole concept of the film, it's a bit mundane, really unbelievable, I think. The whole concept is that a girl named Dusty heads over to Iraq, and she goes over there looking for her government conspiracy brother, Derek. This is the plot of the entire film. But at the same time, there is a zombie outbreak going on. And the zombie outbreak is perpetrated by Osama Bin Laden. And this is shown off in the very beginning, which is very Call of Duty style, third-person and first-person shooter camera work. They even nod that game in the movie here and there. They're basically going through and they get attacked by all these Iraqi zombies that are in a warehouse. And they just start blowing things away, and then they come to find out they got Osama, and you see him shooting up a drug, and that is essentially what turns him into a zombie. One of them gets bit as they're flying the corpse back to the US. Plane crashes. Osombie arises from the river, from the ocean, whatever. And it was great! I loved it! I loved watching him come out of the water like that. That was just amazing. One thing I gotta hand this movie, the zombie effects actually look really impressive when it's one-on-one. And Osama as a zombie, I nearly wet myself laughing constantly. It was just fantastic. And from this point, Dusty is introduced. You learn that there is the Iraqi zombie outbreak going on. And you have soldiers out there that are trying to quell all of the zombie attacks and everything. While the premise is basically Dusty and Derek, there's a little more going on. And by a little more, I mean walking, talking. Much of the film, unfortunately, is just them going through the deserts and talking, character development, but there's nothing ever really said of importance. Now, to be fair, there is a lot of walking, but a lot of it happens at the 30, 40-minute mark. But the problem is, it lasts forever. It is just extended beyond belief, and it really does get boring. Just imagine Lord of the Rings, the Walking Edition, or Hobbit, the Walking Edition. Harry Potter, the Deathly Gallows, Part 1, Walking Edition. All it is just walking and trivial, mindless banter that means absolutely nothing. That is basically the good majority of the second half of the film outside of the very finale. Now, the zombie fights themselves are actually rather enjoyable. I like them. I thought they were pretty good. The one-on-one fighting isn't all that great. But when there are larger groups of zombies, the action does pick up, and it's just a lot of fun. One of the zombie fights, Dusty pulls up in a Humvee, and this was honestly one of my favorite parts of the entire film. He just pulls up in the Humvee, everybody's there, there's a horde of zombies over there, he just gets out with a gun and just red browns, he just and starts shooting everything, and shooting all the zombies. I'm just in there, oh, it was fun. It was good times. It was so happy. And then more walking. 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 And walking. Just, it really became a nuisance after a while. But there were a decent amount of the zombie fights. They did break up the monotony a bit. They eventually, at one point, they find a cave, and the cave has more zombies in it. And that did lead to slightly stylish death, in a way you could say. Where basically the zombies just like, come here! And grab them, pull them in. Eventually from there they do find the hideout and everything, and they're shooting a video, and the big reveal! And it was worth all of the walking. Just Osama sitting there as a zombie. They reveal him, and he just goes, oh. He's got the dumbest, retarded look in the world. That was just so worth it. That honestly made the entire film right there. And the rest is your typical good guy versus bad guy fight. Dusty, the entire reason he goes over there is to prove that Osama Bin Laden is still alive, so he goes back in looking to kill Osama, and this is basically the final showdown, but it's not really that great a showdown. It's very brief, but it's worth it. That's basically Osombie in a nutshell. The story is good. It's basic cannon fodder. I mean, it's not the most amazing. Really could have had a little more than walking, but the action scenes were fun. I had fun with it. The production was actually really good, too. A lot of times it looked like they were using a lot of green screen. There were some CG effects for the guns, but it's to be expected. Visually, the film looked amazing. I loved the backgrounds. Everything was crystal clear. It was sharp. It felt like I was actually kind of there. The high definition was done well. The audio captured very well. The acting was actually pretty good. I mean, it's not the most amazing acting you'll come across, but the acting was good. Like I said, the zombie effects were they were pretty good, actually. But in the group of zombies, especially towards the end, they find this pen of zombies and they get freed. No. It basically looked like a 2-year-old went, I can do black metal corpse paint, and then just did it. It just was not good. But even with that said, Osombie! I really, really like this movie. It's fun. The acting's okay. The story could have been better. It's a little drug along, but it's got zombies. It's got Osama as a zombie. It feeds into the conspiracy theory. And so many of the actors actually play off each other quite well. The only real gripe I have is the helicopter at the end, how horrible the CG was. If you happen to see Osombie, this is actually a really good film for what it is. It's definitely not, Nazi Hitler and zombies, but, any of those kind of films. This is actually an interesting take on the Osama Bin Laden death and conspiracy. So if you happen to actually catch this film, it's on Netflix right now, I highly suggest it. It's just a popcorn flick. Just sit back, watch the film, and turn your brain off. Enjoy watching Iraqi terrorists get shot by our troops, and see Osama Bin Laden as a zombie. How can you go wrong? I gotta give this film, just because of the walking, a 6.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed myself. It's not a movie I'm gonna go back to and watch again anytime soon, but maybe at some point, in the future I will. But for now, I'm content seeing Osama Bin Laden as a zombie and getting his head shot off.